getting out your flop era is not about not making any more mistakes. It's about being so self-aware that you know why you made the mistake. Hey everybody, it's Lataya, the multifaceted mom, and today I'm back with another video. So I really just want to say, you know, Kourtney Kardashian, Kim Kardashian, a lot of women that I am around always say they 40s is their best era, okay? They say the 20s was the worst, the 30s was alright, but the 40s is prime time, okay? And here I'm not even 30, y'all. And I'm already thinking about my 40s. Like, okay, I'm building in my 30s or whatever. You know, my 20s was my flop era. And that's what really made me think about this video, because we are done with our flop era, babes. And if you don't know what a flop era is, it is pretty much when it does not have an age limit, but I do think it really applies for us women in our 20s who just made some silly mistakes. You know, I'm not going to say dumb, but, you know, some of the mistakes we made where you don't know what you don't know. Some of the mistakes that we made were just really straight up silly as fuck. Like, I mean, let's be real. We knew better, and we still, you know, did certain things. But now we're not there anymore. We are exiting that era because I'm done with that. And if you have been following my last few videos about, you know, writing a vision down for what your higher self is, minimizing your mistakes, minimizing your fuck ups, you are also at a point of being sick of your own shit. Okay, we're sick of it. We're sick of our own shit. And exiting your flop girl era is not about no longer making mistakes anymore, but it's about evaluating all of the mistakes you have made and really thinking about why you made those mistakes. So today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to exit your flop era, because we're done flopping, okay? Now we might fall and get back up, but flopping, we're not doing that anymore, because flopping is unintentional. Flopping is really not thinking about or living with intention and really living with purpose, and we just out here making really silly ass mistakes that have no true intention behind it. We're done with that, okay? This does not apply only to my girls in their 20s. It could apply to 30s or 40s or whatever. But it does not only apply to, you know, moms or moms or single moms. Like this can apply to anybody who it applies to, because if you're like me, you really look back and you just be like, damn, I could have did better. I could have did real better. And certain things I just did not know. So the first step is really to acknowledge what the fuck you did. Like, write it down. I am a type A person. Y'all don't have to be like this, but really journal about what happened, why you got here, what was your mindset of why you got to where you got to. I'll give you an example. When I moved to LA in 2019, that was my dream. But why did I move to LA in 2019 in April? Within 2 weeks, when I was planning to move after I got married, it had a longer plan. Why? Because I was impulsive. I was very emotional. I didn't process my feelings. I didn't process my feelings of the trauma I had went through. I was just so sick of life grabbing my ass by the balls and just shaking me. Like, I just hated being a victim. But the truth is, now that I'm looking back, I made a lot of decisions based on emotions and not logic. That is the key principle that you really want to take out of your flop girl era. What did you do and why did you do it? Okay, so why are you making decisions out of emotions and not really truly sitting down? Oh, because you're uncomfortable with sitting in your feelings and really feeling your feelings. Oh, why? because you never were allowed to. You know, that's the process that I want you to go through when you really are sitting down and reflecting what happened in your flop girl or your flop era. Like, for example, I, was in a terrible relationship. Why was I in a terrible relationship? Because I had no self-worth. Like, that's the reality. I have daddy issues. I could go on and on about that. And I birthed 2 beautiful children. I did not know what I did not know. And that is okay. However, as I began to still learn certain things, the stubborn part of me still kept making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And that's what I really want you to identify. How did you get here? What mistakes did you make? What decisions did you make that led to certain outcomes? The reality is that it's no one size fits all. You can meet a great guy, for example, in his early 20s, and he could turn into such an asshole in his late 20s because he done been through some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no one size fits all equation here. So I really just want y'all to understand that this is not really to shame you. It's really to think about, okay, how can I control what I can control? How can I control my reactions? I've been known to have, let's say, anger issues with my reactions to when people have me truly fucked up. And we'll do a video on that too. But I've been known to have those certain reactions. What can I learn from that? Oh, I can learn better boundaries. Because my lack of boundaries is what led me to all this shit festering up. And because I didn't know how to sit in my emotions, I lashed out. That's some mature shit. That's the mentality you want to come out of your flop era with, is what can you do better? Okay? And my last tip with exiting that flop era is set up a plan on how you can do better. If setting up a plan requires you to write it down, okay, in every single area, how can I do better? I need to go to therapy. Get with a therapist. I just learned a new resource. As y'all know, I'm in grad school to become a therapist, and I don't even know why I didn't even think of this. But my friend actually went to a local college or a college in her state I think she went through like a counseling program to get hooked up with a counselor that would be going into their internship like I am for free. So essentially you are with a baby therapist, but they are still highly educated in their field to give you those services if you can't afford for therapy. It's therapy scholarships. It's certain groups that you can join. If you can afford a $20 membership to Planet Fitness, it is a lot of therapists who have online coaching programs or online communities that you can really get that support. If therapy is not your thing, what type of self-help books can you read? I read this book, y'all, called it was actually very life-changing in my lifestyle, and honestly a lot of the reason why I made decisions that I made with leaving my last situation and boundaries that I set with my family. Oh, here it is, my girl. Set Boundaries, Find Peace by Nedra Glover. But A Guide to Reclaiming Yourself. Very great book. Let's read these books about how to set boundaries in your life. So then that way you're not making the same mistake in the future. You're looking at certain red flags. If you've made friendship mistakes, whether you have been a toxic person or the other person has been toxic. I've had friendship issues all throughout my 20s. And one thing that I learned is that I give and expect to receive that same energy. But I mistake that for having expectations of people. And also, I feel like what I've learned is it came from a very codependent place and enmeshment type of place that I kind of had with my family growing up, and it overflowed to friends. So how can I address that? Let me take a step back from making new friends and say, let me work on myself. Let me kind of evaluate the mistakes that I made. Let me evaluate why I choose certain friends, why I attract certain friends. It's not only men you attract, but it's like even the friends you attract. Why do you attract introverts? Why, and you're an extrovert? Like, it's just certain questions that you really need to ask yourself, and you can really dive deep into these things in therapy. Another thing is, maybe you need to go to the gym. Maybe you're not happy with your mental health or your physical health. Instead of, thinking about what you did back in your 20s, instead of thinking about how much you messed up, let's think about how we can just move forward. I always start off my gym process, and this time it was so much harder than it usually is. I started off my gym process trying to just do 2 days a week. 2 days a week, and that's it. Even if it was for 15 minutes, 2 days a week, and building up on there. Like, literally make a plan for how you are going to get out of your flop era and start doing better, okay? When you know better, you do better. And sometimes even when you know better, you make the same mistakes. But the thing is, if your mentality is different when you make certain mistakes, you're going to be so much more self-aware because you actually did the work coming out your flop era. And you're going to be like, yeah, I fucked up because I still made the conscious decision to, let's say, trust somebody who showed me red flags from the very beginning. I need to dig deep and to see how I can do that. Again, your flop era is... Getting out your flop era is not about not making any more mistakes. It's about being so self-aware that you know why you made this mistake. You can figure out how to conquer this. You can do trial and error and see, this type of crowd might not be my crowd to find friends in. Let me try to shift to a different way of making friends, for example. Like, let me try to get rid of certain habits. Maybe you drink too much. Maybe you drinking every weekend, but then you mad that you keep attracting, wild ass girls who just want to be drunk all the time. Well, babe, you met her in the bar. Like, let's be real. Like, or the only thing y'all do for fun is go out to eat and get margaritas. Like, why wouldn't you attract somebody who is an alcoholic or have alcoholic tendencies? Like, you have to take accountability for that and figure out your groove for getting out your flop era and not making those same mistakes. Like, we're done with that, okay? Talk to myself here. And as I'm entering my 30s, I feel like, or entering into my last year of 20s, I just feel like it's just so much that I learned. I've been through so much shit, like, from the very beginning. Like, as soon as I left college, it was just like, something happened every single time. And I think that what's really important to know is that you can't control how life's exactly, but you can control your reactions to it. Because a lot of times we really do make our situations even worse by making decisions based on trauma that we haven't acknowledged. And that's what we're doing. We are making a plan. We are making a routine. We are acknowledging our mistakes, and we are moving forward. And forgive yourself, honey. Like, you just don't know what you don't know. And even when you know better, sometimes you operate from a place that you didn't even know you was there, okay? Like, you just didn't even know. Give yourself grace, but not too much grace. And let's do better. That's all for today, y'all. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and comment below.